if you know this, but AT&T recently revealed that 73 million customer records were released, both existing and former customers, on the dark web. If my information was compromised in an AT&T data breach, I'm not worried because Aura is always on, always doing the hard work to keep me safe. I value my privacy and I also value yours. You can go to aura.com/AV7 to start your free 2-week trial using this service. Also linked below in the description. Protect your information today, guys. It's super important, and I cannot tell you how much time it will save you in the event that you get into a jam. Let's get into today's video. Hey guys, come on in. How are y'all doing? We haven't streamed in a while. It's been a few days. It's been a while. How are you guys doing? Hello, hello, hello. We are back on my side today. Back on in it. Streaming on this side. We did the trial on lead side today, so that was a lot of fun, but definitely needed to show you guys some love on my channel. You know, we had to keep that heart rate beat alive over here as well. We've got a ton of stuff in production right now. Lots of Diddy videos we're working on. We released one 2 days ago, and then we have one that is almost done. Final touches might come out tonight or tomorrow, but wow, we really went in on the documentary style of filming. But we're not here for that. Today, we're going to talk about Mounk Tounk. You guys remember Mounk Tounk, one of the original defendants in the YSL case who accepted a plea deal in December of 22. Now, what do we know about Mounk Tounk? Well, we know that he testified in early September in the case. Didn't really want to be there. Looked at Miss Love and said, Miss Love, you're hurting my brain. You're hurting my brain. I think she hurts our brains every day. All the time this happens. All of the time. So, Mounk Tounk was on probation. That was one of the things that was mentioned in his plea deal. So without further delay, we're going to actually look at something. Where is it at? Where is it at? Here it is. We're going to look at this. What is this? The state of Georgia versus Antonio Sledge. It's the state's motion to revoke his probation. Why? Because allegedly Mounk Tounk violated the terms of his plea deal. So we're going to jump on into all of that. Let's see who we have in the building. And shout out to you guys. I'm just now getting back from Atlanta this week. I celebrated my birthday down there with a few friends. So that was fantastic. Spent a lot of time with MTR. Spent a lot of time with some people that are near and dear to me. Got connected with Ashley Merchant, which was awesome. And just had an amazing birthday weekend. That was actually the last time I streamed. Was right before I got on the plane the next morning to spend some time with family and friends in the A. All right, but let's look at this. Let's see who we have. Shout out to Here Comes Drama, one of my faves. We have Little Rock in the building who says, yo, good to see you. Chrissy is here. Eric Lawson is here as well. Look at Roro. Roro, you were supporting me earlier on lead side, so it's good to see you on my side as well. Higher Thinking is here. Quentin says that's why Cruella DeVille wasn't in the courtroom today. Pure evil. I mean, who knows? Who knows? This man has 8 kids, 9 kids. You can see it on his Instagram. It's a big family photo. All of that. Craziness. Shout out to Siri jumping in, giving memberships away already. We just started. Thank you so much, Siri, for gifting a membership. If you've received that membership from Siri, please tell he or she, thank you. Appreciate you. Siri's also testing. Yes, we could see it. Siri, you're good. You're good. Thank you guys for your patience. Shout out to Shawnee, who's in here as well. JoJo's in the building. Oh, the international quiet storm. You're on a post-it. I have to get back to you about something you asked me to do, so I'll get back to you. Shout out to Dell in the building as well. Oh my God, I miss streaming on my side. When you're a co-pilot, like sometimes you gotta let the lead lead. But over here, your girl's in the driver's seat. So I'm super excited about that. All right, folks. Well, shoot. Shout out to D. D's in the building. It says 88 love, gonna show no love and do you dirty. Think about that. And I pulled a few clips that we can look at too with her interactions with Mounk Tounk, because they're saying that he violated his plea deal. And what is interesting in this document, I've already gave it a scan. They kind of don't tell you how. Does that surprise us? But here's the thing. Is it granted right now? No. We're going to look at it together, guys, in just a minute. I just want to shout a few of you guys out before we go in. But thank you so much, D. 100% right. Look at Here Comes Drama gifting 10 AV memberships. Thank you so much. Here Comes Drama. If you got one of those memberships, do me a huge favor. Say thank you to Here Comes Drama. She doesn't have to do it, but she did. So if you received one of those, please say thank you to her. And then Chi-Town, of course, is doing the same thing, gifting 10 memberships. Look, we just got 20 memberships and we just got started 6 minutes ago. Without further delay, though, I don't want to keep you guys waiting. Please say thank you if you've received one of those memberships. We're growing the AV7 community and members. I need you to help me with something. In 2025, we're really focused on shifting to documentary style filming and documentary style production. I love that. You guys know that that's my jam. And we're getting, like, my editing team are getting better and better and better. We're going to add more people. We're going to keep going. But when y'all expand the membership community, it means so much. And we love you guys for it. And when you gift memberships, it just makes this community all the better and keeps us powered. So I will go ahead and drop a poll for the members tonight, something we need your help with. We need you to help us name the second channel. That's right. Names must be named. So members, if you've just been gifted a membership, that's what you're going to be helping us with over the weekend as we produce this content. That being said, let's jump on into the state's motion and petition to revoke probation. Thank you so much to Chi-Town and, of course, to Here Comes Drama for expanding our community. Let's jump on into this document, shall we? Y'all got your teacups ready? You ready? You ready to go in? Here it is. The state's motion and petition to revoke probation. The state of Georgia, by and through one Fonnie T. Willis, DA, for the Atlanta Judicial Circuit of Georgia, and the undersigned Chief Deputy District Attorney Adam Abate, hereby moves this honorable court to revoke the defendant's probation in the above styled manner in accordance with OCGA Section 42.834.1 and other authority. In support of this motion, the state presents the following to court. Now, before we go a little bit further into the document, because they have to tell us why. It's a motion. So just because you file a motion, it doesn't mean that the motion is automatically granted. This is going to have to be presented to a judge, and that judge is going to have to decide, did Mounk Tounk violate his plea deal? They need to convince the judge that that violation has occurred. Now, interestingly enough, Adam Abate filed this, not DA Love, who kind of facilitated the negotiation of the plea deal with Mounk Tounk. And that's really why I want to bring us back to September and look at some of the interactions. The reason, and we'll read on, a big reason why they're saying that he violated this is because allegedly he doesn't remember certain things. He was saying that there were parts of the plea deal that weren't true. And if you guys remember, we showed you moments where Max pointed out some inconsistencies within this plea deal, right? When Max cross-examined Mounk Tounk, y'all remember that? Interesting, right? Super, super interesting. Let's see what their main arguments are. And it's super short. One, their main argument is plea of guilty by the defendant on December 28th, right? Next, they talk about the special conditions of his sentence. Then they talk about how he violated special conditions of his probation, right? And then Adam signs it towards the end. Let's go up top and let's see exactly what they're saying. So, December 28th, the defendant pled guilty to conspiracy to violate RICO, and he had possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Chief Judge Glanville sentenced him to 30 years of probation. The general and special conditions of probation were detailed in the final disposition sentencing sheet filed on that date. That's Exhibit 1, which is down bottom. We'll take a look at it. Here's the special conditions of his sentence. So what did that include? Glanville imposed several special conditions on the defendant's probation, including a requirement that he fully adhere to all terms in the agreement. Any failure to comply with those terms will be considered a violation of the agreement. Of pertinence to this motion are the following special conditions. So it looks like there's 4. First one, defendant shall abide in full by each and all of the terms of this negotiated agreement. Defendant's failure to abide by any terms of this agreement shall constitute a violation of the agreement. Okay, we know that. 2, defendant shall testify truthfully about all matters relating to this case upon which he is questioned at any trial or judicial proceeding stemming from the facts in this alleged indictment. 3, in accordance with testifying truthfully about matters relating to this case, defendant acknowledges that each and all the statements contained within the defendant's factual acknowledgement sections of this agreement are true. Here we go. This third part is important. You know, if you look at B, it says defendant shall testify truthfully about all matters relating to this case. Look at the third one. In accordance with testifying truthfully, defendant acknowledges that each and all of the statements contained within the factual acknowledgments of this agreement are true. This is what they're trying to nail him on right there, C. They're trying to say, you know, Mounk Tounk has some inconsistencies with his statements. Towards the end, you are saying that when you signed this plea agreement, everything in the factual acknowledgments were true. And we're going to look at it in a second, guys. He said in that moment in 2022 that everything he signed was true. Now, Max pulled it out of him. Pulled it out. It's just like, come on, Mounk Tounk. Did you understand everything that you signed? Mounk Tounk says no. I just wanted to get out of jail. My mom was, my mom had some issues and I needed to be with her. Did you sign it under duress? And don't quote me on this. It's probably not exactly what he said. But this actually exposes a lot that happens in the criminal justice system. People accept plea deals every day, like clockwork. But the question becomes, do they understand what they're signing? You wanted Mounk Tounk's testimony so bad that you were willing to do anything to have it. And then the crazy thing about this case is that you have witnesses on the stand that don't want to be there, that don't want to cooperate, and it becomes difficult to keep control over them. Now, Mounk Tounk testified in early September, and we're in mid-October right now. So just about 6 weeks later, we're seeing this motion come out. But if you really look at C, this is kind of showing us where they're going with this. Let's go to D. Defendant shall testify truthfully about each statement contained within the defendant's factual acknowledgments and any matters related to this case, when asked to do so in any proceedings related to the facts alleged in this indictment, right? So we have that. Okay, state. Let's go to section 3. Tell us why you believe that he violated the special conditions of his probation. The defendant has violated all of the special conditions of his sentence outlined above. That's crazy. The word all. Emphasis on all. They're saying he violated everything, all of it, all of the special conditions in his sentences, that Judge Glanville gave him. All right, let's see what they say. On September 4th, he was called to testify in the trial of this case, with his testimony continuing through September 6th. So altogether, probably about 3 business days, during which he underwent both direct and cross-examination. During his testimony, the defendant directly contradicted the special conditions of his plea agreement by disavowing the factual acknowledgments he swore were accurate and true during the plea hearing on December 28th, 2022. You guys see how they're trying to fuck him over? I mean, they really are. They really are. This is bad. So you wanted his testimony. He complied. He testified for 3 days, September 4th, September 5th, September 6th. But when he points out that there were mistakes, and I mean, do y'all remember his attorney being on the stand as well? Walking everyone through the process of how this plea deal was negotiated, arranged. They had multiple versions of it, and there were some mistakes that needed to be corrected, that they went back and forth on. And 6 weeks later, you're pointing out like, okay, well, he signed it. He signed it. That day that he signed it, he said that the factual acknowledgments were true on the day that he signed it. But because we're pointing out flaws, Fulton County, we're going to put people in jail. That's what we're doing. Okay, let's keep going. At that time, he had an opportunity to correct or clarify any statements in the factual acknowledgement before affirming their truth under oath. He also confirmed that he fully understood the agreement, and he had discussed it in details with his chosen attorney, Derek Wright. Most importantly, Mounk Tounk acknowledged that he understood that any violations of this plea agreement could lead to the revocation of his probation, meaning that his bail or his probation is going to be revoked, with the district attorney recommending the maximum sentence allowed by law in the Georgia Department of Corrections. Wasn't it something crazy, guys? Like, it was a lot of years with all those kids. 30 years of probation or being in jail. He's been out for 2 years. He testifies the way you guys wanted him to. They pointed out flaws in the statements. And the DA's office is like, well, you should have pointed those flaws out back then. But you signed that agreement under oath. What do y'all think? I mean, let's, we do polls over here. We do our polls. Let's do our poll. Is this fair? Yes or no? Is it fair? If there's a mistake, and be honest, guys, like if there's a mistake in the document, should it have been corrected back then? Or if it needs to be corrected now, are we going to throw people in jail? You're going to revoke your probation? Like, we're taking it back? He testified the way you wanted him to. You didn't like the result. It pointed out flaws, and some of them were valid. And they're like, no, the time to point out flaws was back then. Not right now, Mounk Tounk. Interesting. They say he confirmed both in writing and verbally that he entered into the plea agreement freely, knowingly, and voluntarily, without any force, threat, or coercion. So yes, he signed the document and he affirmed in front of Judge Glanville that he entered into the plea agreement freely. So without, like he was free to do so, make that choice knowingly, meaning he knew what he was doing, voluntarily, meaning that he volunteers to do it, and without any force, threat, or coercion. But is that really what we're talking about here? We're talking about mistakes in the document. Mistakes that were pointed out not only by Mounk Tounk, but his attorney. And we went back and forth. Y'all remember it took like a day with Love and the defense team. They wanted to pull out every version that they had of this plea deal to figure out where the discrepancies were. And remember, a lot of these defendants have accepted plea deals. So after that happened, the defense attorneys mentioned that they wanted to see, to prevent this from happening in the future, we want to see the correspondences between every single defendant, original defendant, from the original the indictment, all the people that accepted plea deals. We want to see the email threads, and we want to see the versions of these documents as they developed. So if you had 3 versions of, Antonio Sledge's plea deal, we want to see that. We want to see Sergio Kitchen's version of his plea deals. We should be able to see that as well. But for them to do this is interesting, guys. But remember, who's signing it? It's not DA Love. It's someone else from the office. It goes on to say, it is evident that the defendant knowingly and willfully violated the special conditions of his negotiated plea agreement with the intent to disrupt the trial of this case. Let me say that again. The intent to disrupt the trial of this case. So this paragraph is where you tell us what he did, why he did what he did. If you have that answer, what is the intention behind it? What I'm not seeing here, guys, they're saying that he intended to disrupt the trial of the case. How? How? Where? Tell me how. Show me where. We're looking for Rico. Where's Rico at? How did he intentionally go in and disrupt the trial of his case? The next line is interesting, but moreover, the next word is interesting. Therefore, the state of Georgia requests that this petition to revoke probation should be scheduled for an evidentiary hearing, and that the defendant be ordered to appear before this court to explain why his probated sentence should not be revoked in its entirety. So you see what they're doing? They're trying to bring Mounk Tounk's ass back to court after he already testified with all of those kids. That's crazy to me. So when they make a declarative statement like it's evident that he violated the special conditions of his probations, well, which one? Which ones? But they said all of it, because he intended to disrupt this case. Crazy. So now they want him to come back in with his lawyer and face the judge and explain his actions, which, I mean, he was already there. There were issues with the plea deal. That came out. And now a different person in the AD or the DA's office, Adam Abate, is the one that's handling this, is the one that's filed this, right? They have some exhibits back here. The first thing that they have is this. It is his booking. This is the final deposition. These are the charges. It was 2. Count 1 is conspiracy to violate RICO. They gave him 15 years probation for that. And then count 30, which was possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. They gave him 15 years probation for that. The sentence summary, the defendant is sentenced for 30 years of probation. And they're trying to revoke that, trying to put him back in jail. They're saying that he needs to comply with the conditions of probations imposed by the court as part of this sentence. What are the general conditions of probation? They are here. He has to do things like do not violate criminal laws, avoid injurious and vicious habits, avoid persons or places of disreputable and harmful character, report to your PO, your probation officer, and your community supervision officer. They can visit you at your home. Work faithfully, so maintain a job. Do not change your residence, your place of abode. Move outside the jurisdiction or leave Georgia without permission of your PO for 30 years. Can't leave the state for 30 years. Do people know what they're signing when they sign these things? But if the other side of it is your freedom, and you don't need to be at Rice Street with nut juice on the ground in between your toes. A lot of men are faced with this decision. And you're handed a pen. And you're asked to sign this right here. This thing right here. For 30 years, you can't leave your state. You can't travel. You can't go on vacation with all of your kids. You can't do that. Mounk Tounk. Okay, let's keep going because this thing is pissing me off. Support your legal dependents to the best of your ability. So all them kids, you better support them. 8, when directed in the discretion of a community your PO, basically, you have to submit evaluations and testing relating to rehab. So stay clean, no drugs, no alcohol. B, wear a device capable of tracking locations by means of electronic surveillance. Wow. Or 9, make restitution as ordered by the court. Oh, man. Some of it includes residential substance abuse or mental health treatment, agree to the imposition of graduated sanctions as defined by law. There are some fines if you do not do that, but it looks like they went with option 1. It says the court orders that the defendant shall pay the probation supervision fee as required by law. Let's talk about that too. So many times people will get these long sentences regarding probation, but you're also paying probation fees. So not only does the government have you by the nuts, right? For men, they have you by the nuts. You also have to pay them to stay on point. Crazy. Now let's look at this section, which is the special conditions of probation. Here's why this is important, because they're saying that Mounk Tounk violated all of these conditions, every single last one. It says the defendant is advised that violation of any special condition of probation may be subject to the defendant of a revocation of probation, and the court may require the defendant to serve up to the balance of the sentence in confinement. They're going to put him in jail. They're trying to put him in jail. They are trying to put Mounk Tounk in jail. Wow. It says the defendant shall comply with all special conditions of probation with this X here, or as follows. So 2, you have a negotiated sentence for count 30 until the completion of the initial trial of this case. After the initial trial of this case, provided you have complied with the special conditions outlined in sections B, C, D, F, and I of section 3. Special conditions of the sentence of this plea agreement, the state agrees that the defendant shall be allowed to withdraw his guilty plea on count 30, and the state shall agree to a nole pros count 30. We talked about this a few weeks back. Here's the special conditions. And they're saying that he violated all of these. Let's go through it. First one, you shall abide in full by each and all terms of this negotiated agreement. Your failure to do so shall constitute a violation of the agreement. All right, so that's the first thing. Second thing, you shall testify truthfully about all matters relating to this case upon which you are questioned at any trial or judicial proceeding stemming from the facts alleged from this indictment. Now, I have a problem with that because, and we're going to look at his, we're going to look at the factual allegations because I remember, I think it was paragraph 7 or something number 7. And Mounk Tounk was like, the way it was worded, it said that he had personal knowledge of who killed Nut. And that's actually what he was trying to change. He said it to when he was on cross-examination with Max, and he said it when he was on direct, I believe with Miss Love. He's just like, hey, even though I signed that, it's not true. I don't know. I don't have personal knowledge of who actually pulled the trigger and killed Nut. That's what he said. So if we think about that and they're looking at the statement of you shall testify truthfully, it could be assumed that they either have proof or think that Mounk Tounk is lying about that paragraph or provision. We'll look at it. We'll look at it together so that way it can bring y'all back and we'll look at the memory of it, right? Interesting. So that's B. That's the second thing. The third thing, in accordance with testifying truthfully about all matters related to this case, you acknowledge that each and all statements contained within the defendant's factual acknowledgement section of this agreement are true. So this is what they're trying to nail him on. He signed it in December of 2022, even though number 7 of the factual acknowledgement, he's now challenging after the fact and saying that it wasn't true. He didn't have personal knowledge of who exactly killed Nut, but that is one of the things at issue. So that's C, that's the third thing. 4, you shall testify truthfully about each statement contained within the defendant's factual acknowledgments, any matters related to the case, and when asked to do so, right? So that's the E, 5th thing. You shall possess no guns unless it is your right to, unless your right to do so is restored. So Mounk Tounk can't have guns. And remember, everything we're reading in red, they said he violated all of these. So now we're leaving the courtroom and now we're looking at his activity at home. Has Mounk Tounk been found with guns recently? Is a question. Next, F. You shall commit no criminal acts. Well, they're saying that he violated all of these. Did Mounk Tounk get arrested recently is the question. Did he commit a criminal act? Next, you shall submit to random drug screenings by the Department of Community Supervision and any agency designated by the court in this case. So are we saying that Mounk Tounk hasn't been showing up for his drug screenings at the PO's office? Because remember, they said that he violated all of the special conditions of his sentence. So that's something to think about. Next, should you test positive for any Schedule 1, 2, or 3 drug, you shall, within 30 days of said positive test, undergo rehab as designated by the court or Department of Community Supervision, and you shall successfully complete such rehab program. Well, did we violate this? Is Mounk Tounk on drugs? Like, you're saying that he violated all of these. Next, you relinquish. This is the kicker. And just for educational purposes, guys, this is the kicker about these deals, this last one. You relinquish any Fifth Amendment right related to any statement contained within the defendant's factual acknowledgments contained with this plea agreement. So by you signing this, you can never, or not even never, you cannot invoke the Fifth Amendment while testifying on this case. So when you think about 30 years of probation with all these things that you need to do, you can't leave the state, drug testing, all of those things that got you by the nuts. This is interesting. But the biggest thing that they mention is that last one. Think about that, viewers. You, dear viewer. If you sign something like this, you're giving away one of the most important rights that you have, and that's the right to plead the fifth, to not incriminate yourself. Everybody's plea deal was different. Mounk Tounk's plea deal was a little bit different than Little D's plea deal. Little D also had immunity. Woody had immunity. Mounk Tounk's situation is very different from those situations. It really is. And it's kind of fascinating. They even put additional special conditions on here. So they are like, hey, curfew, you cannot be out at night from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. unless you are working in school or an emergency happens. You cannot be out at night for 30 years. How old are you, Mounk Tounk? You're in your 40s? Mounk Tounk, you cannot, until you are over the age of 70, sir, you cannot go out at night unless you are at work or school. That's what this man signed. They're also saying you can have no contact with any other co-defendants in this indictment, except through counsel. You can't talk to Young Thug. You cannot talk to Lil Rod. You cannot talk to Shannon Stillwell, SB. You can't talk to Yak Gotti. You can't talk to Huey. You can't talk to any of the guys. Imagine being friends with somebody your whole life. You accepted this plea deal. You can never speak to them except through your lawyer. Also says, after successful completion of 10 years of probation, the state has no objection to the remaining bounds of probation to terminate. So that's interesting. That's saying if you after completing 10 years of probation, the state's actually not going to give you a hard time if you keep it straight and narrow for 10 years. And if there's a balance to terminate, they would consider it. That's how much they wanted his testimony. So that's the first document. We see the Honorable Oral Glanville. This was signed, right? It has a few things on here, and that was Exhibit A. Exhibit B. This is from December 27th of 2022. It's the state of Georgia versus Antonio Sledge, aka Mounk Tounk. This is his plea agreement. It talks about the two charges, count 1, count 30. The negotiated sentence, count 1, 15 years on probation for count 1, conspiracy to commit RICO, count 30, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, so 15 years for this one as well. This is the one that has the special conditions of the sentence, right? Count 30. That's important to know. Also in the bottom, look, there are some initials. All right, special conditions. We talked about that. He has to talk about everything truthfully. I'm not going to review it again. All of those are there. These are the factual acknowledgments, right? So he had to initial every single one of these paragraphs and say that these factual acknowledgments are true. It's on page 3, 4, and 5. Let's go through them. There are 16. They did this in the courtroom. They said, all right, Mounk Tounk, tell us if all of these things are true. I remember Max doing this with him, and they went through everything. YSL is an organization made up of 3 or more members who share common identifiers but are not limited to colors, hand signals, and terminology, right? Mounk Tounk signed. Defendant has been a member. So Mounk Tounk, you've been a member or associate of YSL since 2012. That's Mounk Tounk's handwriting. He signed. Mounk Tounk, while associated with YSL and to support and express loyalty to YSL, Mounk Tounk and Demekion Garlington and Quindarius Zachary appeared in a video with another person, where defendant brandished a weapon used in a drive-by shooting. That's related to count 30. And where on behalf of YSL, defendant threatened to harm a person named Kel, a rival gang member who had begun a relationship with the defendant's ex-paramour. That was Antravia. Antonio signed it. So Mounk Tounk signed this. What Mounk Tounk had a problem with in this paragraph is, I believe it was on behalf of YSL. If he had a problem with Shell Kel, he had an individual problem with Shell Kel. So I do remember some language around, or at least some argument around this language here on behalf of YSL. That did come up, right? Now, 4, on or about April 28th, 2015, as reflected in the indictment, Mounk Tounk and Demikian and Little D committed a drive-by shooting using the firearm that they had in, I think it was like the Instagram video, right? So those are his crimes. He admitted to it. He signed it. 5, defendant and his fellow YSL associates committed the drive-by shootings and to increase the notoriety, reputation, and fear of YSL. I remember them having a problem with this end of this paragraph as well. Even though he committed the drive-by, he admits to that. But there was some language, there was some argument around, you did this on behalf of YSL and to increase the notoriety, reputation, and fear of YSL. If y'all remember correctly, Max Shard walked him through these 3 words: notoriety, reputation, and fear of YSL. Right? 6, defendant admitted committing and was convicted of aggravated assault, participation in criminal street gang activity, and other charges for his participation in the drive-by referenced in sections 3, 4, and 5. He signed that because he did those things. He said he did those things. Right? 7, defendant was told by another YSL associate that immediately after the murder of Donovan Thomas, YSL associates met at the McDonald's on the Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia, to discuss the murder. This is where we have a problem. It started to go south here. They talked about this a lot when Mounk Tounk was on the stand. Number 7. Number 8 is the one. This is where they argued about this a lot. He said, defendant Mounk Tounk personally knows that one or more YSL associates committed the murder of Donovan Thomas on behalf of YSL. This is huge. He signed it. Number 8, he signed that one. But this was a huge contention in the courtroom. So Mounk Tounk, when he signs this, what he's actually saying is, I personally know for a fact that one or more YSL people committed Donovan Thomas's murder on behalf of YSL. This is why you have a little bit of a problem here. Not even a little bit, a lot of it. Like you got a big problem here, because that's essentially the entire case. They were relying on Mounk Tounk to be truthful. Another star witness. Notice that these star witnesses don't want to be star witnesses, and they go rogue on the state. They go rogue on the prosecution team, and repeatedly the prosecution team has to reel them in. And then when they go rogue, along comes a motion like this, where we're going to revoke your plea deal because you, sir, allegedly you weren't being truthful. Interesting. Let's continue on. But 7 and 8 is where we got into a lot of problems in the courtroom last month. On January 10th, after the murder of Donovan Thomas, Mounk Tounk and other YSL associates gathered at Young Thug's house, who gave Mounk Tounk and other YSL associates cash money to lay low. Mounk Tounk has personal knowledge that after the murder of Nut, YSL associates traveled to Miami. He didn't deny that, with the co-defendant and founder, Young Thug. He didn't deny that. 11, defendant did not murder Donovan Thomas and was not a party to the crime. He didn't deny that. Defendant did not murder Shamel Drinks and was not a party to that crime. He didn't deny that. You see how the state put that in there? All right, we know you didn't do those crimes. Sign here. Defendant cannot truthfully assert that the persons charged in this indictment with the murder of Donovan Thomas are guilty of the murder, and defendant will make no attempt at trial, prior to trial, after trial, to exonerate the persons charged in this indictment with the murder of Donovan Thomas. This is an interesting one. Now that we're looking at this a few weeks later, they're saying Mounk Tounk cannot truthfully assert, he cannot say that the people charged in this indictment with the murder of Donovan Thomas are guilty of the murder. This is where I think they try to help him, because they know he can't necessarily say who did it. And he can't point the finger at any of the defendants that are in the courtroom right now. Right? But Mounk Tounk will also agree to make no attempt at trial, before trial, or after trial to exonerate, help his friends, anybody that's charged in this indictment with murder. They're saying that even if you know the truth, Mounk Tounk, shut up. Can't say anything. They had him by the crazy, awful deal, terrible. 14, the gas station on Cleveland Avenue is one of the multiple locations where YSL associates sell drugs and do not allow other gangs to operate. He signed that one. The gas station at Cleveland Avenue. So there's another one, just a little, just close to it. You have 151 Cleveland Avenue, and then you have 221. So about a block or two away is another location where YSL associates would sell drugs and do not permit other gangs to operate. So there's two gas stations where they would allegedly sell drugs. Last one, defendant has personal knowledge that he or other members of YSL have either participated in or directly committed at least one of the following crimes in order to increase the notoriety and reputation of YSL: murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault, attempted murder, theft, illegal gun possession, and illegal drug possession and sales. This next part is his sentencing acknowledgments. This is where he had to acknowledge some things. Mounk Tounk, you fully understand that if you violate any provision or special condition, that Fani can and will use the content of this document during any judicial proceeding. You know that, Mounk Tounk? What did he do? He signed number 1. Mounk Tounk, you understand fully that if you violate any provision or special condition in this plea agreement, your probation may be revoked in its entirety by Fani Willis, and will recommend that you, Mounk Tounk, serve any remaining portion of this sentence in confinement at the Georgia Department of Corrections. And just so you don't forget, Mounk Tounk, we'll put it in parentheses, prison. We're gonna put you in jail. Violate any of this, jail, Mounk Tounk. You understand that? All right, you signed. Next, Mounk Tounk, you understand that any violation of any provision or special condition of this plea agreement shall result in you, Mounk Tounk, being sentenced to count 30 in this indictment, and Fani Willis will recommend that you serve the maximum sentence allowed by law. You understand that, Mounk Tounk? What'd you do? You signed it. Let's keep going. Mounk Tounk, you understand, prior to the conclusion of the initial trial of this case, if Mounk Tounk, if you fail or refuse to testify to any fact acknowledged in this plea agreement, Mounk Tounk, such failure nullifies any promise made by Fani Willis's office to annul pros of count 30 of this indictment. Mounk Tounk, what did you do? You signed it. Mounk Tounk also understands, you understand fully, that if you violate any provision or condition of this plea agreement, at the conclusion of the trial of this case shall nullify any promises we made you, Mounk Tounk, made by Fani's office to the nole pros count 30 of this indictment, and result in the defendants being, they caught this typo, instead of being sentenced to serve as much as 35 years. of confinement in the Georgia Department of Corrections, Mounk Tounk. 35 years. 30 years of probation. 35 years is the maximum sentence for count 30. That drive-by that the three of you guys did. You don't testify. You don't comply with us. We're going to give you 35 years. He's been out for 2. Crazy, guys. This deal is terrible. Next, Mounk Tounk, you fully understand that no promises or agreements or conditions that have been made other than that set forth in this document. You get that, Mounk Tounk? Yes. What did he do? He signed. All right, Mounk Tounk. You're acknowledging I, Antonio Sledge, have read and carefully reviewed this agreement. I've reviewed and corrected where necessary for accuracy each statement containing the defendant's factual acknowledgments. And I acknowledge the truth and accuracy of each and every statement listed therein. I fully understand this agreement. I've had an opportunity to talk to my lawyer about it, Mr. Derek Wright. No promises other than those contained in this document have been made to me in furtherance of this agreement. I freely, knowingly, and voluntarily enter this agreement without threat, force, threat, or coercion. Last page. Antonio Sledge, Derek Wright, and Adrian Love, all 3 dated and signed December 28th, 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the worst fucking plea deal you'll ever see in your life. Sorry to swear, but I can't. Wow. That last paragraph is what's getting him. Now, what does Judge Whitaker do with this? Did he break all of those provisions? If you go up top, Adam Abate, and let's go to page 1. Adam Abate didn't go into details because they want to argue this out. It just says that it's evident that the defendant knowingly and willfully violated the special conditions of his negotiated plea agreement with the intent to disrupt the trial of the case. Therefore, the state requests that this petition to revoke probation be scheduled for an evidentiary hearing and that the defendant be ordered to appear before this court to explain why his probated sentence should not be revoked in its entirety. So they want a hearing. They want Mounk Tounk to come. Mounk Tounk, come. You violated all this stuff. It's an evidentiary hearing. We're going to bring up evidence. We're going to show how you violated all of it. Explain how you did it. These next few weeks are going to be amazing. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see this unfold because this is really, that was a bad deal to begin with. But at the same time, is it bad when you want to be out and you got all these kids and you want to be spending time with your family? You know, is it bad when, you know, your mother's passing away or, you know, she's really, really sick and you want to be with her? What are we signing? Are we going to sign a deal with the devil who will easily throw you right back behind bars immediately? This is happening to so many men across the country. It's really bad. Next, they have, this is a 61-page document, so I'm not going to bore you guys and go through it. We are going to look at some moments between Mounk Tounk and Miss Love, where I believe that Miss Love thought he was lying. And if you look a little bit closer, you can see her frustration. So we're going to look at that in just a second. But what is this? This is a transcript of the guilty plea before Judge Glanville. And they read a lot of this stuff. They read a lot of this stuff out loud. And shout out to Miss Weaver, who is the court reporter. This is her work here. She wrote out everything. You know, it says, Mr. Wright, the court, defendant. This is a transcript. We're not going to go through all that. They put it in here to show that every single time he was asked a question, asking if he understood, you could see things like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. This is Miss Love saying, do you understand that this plea involves you being put on probation? Things like that. And the answer from Ms. Sledge was, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, you know, all of that's on YouTube. I'm not going to bore you guys with that. But they went through all of those things. She even read through the factual acknowledgments back then. So that was an opportunity for him too. If some of these were wrong, like number 7, number 8, those were the opportunities for him to point it out. But I think he wanted to get out of jail so bad, and they wanted him to testify so bad, that he needed to verbally say that he understood all these things. And he also signed it saying that he understood all these things. The reality is, and I think all of you guys will agree, we'll do another poll in a second. I don't think people understand what they're signing when they sign these things, like at all. I do not think your standard criminal understands what the hell they are signing. This is bad. Really bad. All right, let's keep going. I think this might be the last exhibit. No, there it is again. Delivered in person. This is his plea deal again. Okay, certificate of service. That's it. That's Mounk Tounk's plea deal. It was awful. Really bad. Let's take a look at some, we're going to take a quick super chat break, and then let's look at some clips. But I wanted you guys to see that they are trying to bring Mounk Tounk back in the courtroom, not in front of Judge Whitaker, but likely in front of a different judge to argue this out. So this is a separate proceeding. That's probably why Miss Love is not the one that's directly on this. And it's Adam Abate, because they have to revoke it and present evidence in front of a judge. Mounk Tounk has to show up and defend himself and say, here's how I did not, violate my probation. Here's how I did not do these things that you guys are accusing me of. It's crazy. Shout out to Siri. We got D. Shout out to Here Comes Drama. Shout out to Rockin' Robin LA with the 199, says Love and Fanny are pure evil, girl. Crazy, right? I am going to step out of order real quick. I want to come to Full Drinking and Half Thinking with the $100 super chat. He is also your stream sponsor. Shout out to the Trinidaddy. I was talking about you while I was in Atlanta with my friends, because I was like, oh my God, I checked out their podcast and he said that I was a wife. I was like, I didn't know that dudes look at me like that. They were like, not even just a high value woman, like AV's a wife. I was like, wow. Y'all could do me a favor and type in Full Drinking and Half Thinking in the chat right now. That would mean the world to me. Is your stream sponsor. Please check out that amazing podcast, Full Drinking and Half Thinking, team of 3, I believe. I was really delighted to see a woman on the panel as well. So I popped on in. Check out this channel, guys. They're really working hard. But I want to acknowledge them for all the support that they show me and lead. Really, really great group of folks. If any of the mods are hanging around, if you can drop the link to their channel so people could check it out, that'd be fantastic. Stream sponsor, Full Drinking and Half Thinking. Thank you so much for this super, super generous super chat. And again, I'm tired, guys, but I haven't streamed in a long time. I miss this. So I wanted to spend some time with you guys as well. Let's keep going before we look at some of the debauchery with Miss Love and others. But Full Drinking and Half Thinking, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate you. No comment, no question. Pure love of the game. Let's look at this. Rockin' Robin, we got you there. Shy Town, thanks again for gifting 10 AV memberships. Shout out to Carl, who's been a member for 2 months. Says hi, AV. Hi, Carl. Hope you're doing good, Carl. Hope you're having a great Friday. Shout out to Spittin' Fire, who hits me with 25. Spittin' Fire says, AV, when you practice, you better not dress like Love or Hilton. You got to represent KS style. I mean, here's the thing. Spittin' Fire, I'm in a skirt. I've been wearing a skirt all day. Yes, I don't have shoes on, and I'm in my socks. But I still do the high value woman thing. I dress well. I dress very well. Oh, wait till you guys see the suit, the custom suit I got. Cannot wait. Photo shoot coming soon. I think it's in like 2 weeks, but we're almost there. You guys are going to love the suit that you picked for me. You all picked it, so I can't wait. It's going to be fire. Spitting fire. Speaking of fire, shout out to Dub Right Side, gifted 10 AV memberships. Thank you so much, Dub. Hope you're doing well, Dubby, and you are enjoying things down in the A. The weather was amazing while I was there. I was so lucky. In October, 80 degrees every day. Like as soon as I got off the plane, I was like, oh, I missed Atlanta. Like, it's just so cold in Boston. Like it was 45 this morning. I was like, brr. Young Burr. Thank you so much, Dub Brightside. You got a membership gifted from him and received it. I hope you said thank you. And if you're seeing this on replay, please say thank you to Dub Brightside. Shout out to Urban Southern Cookie with the 10. Good to see you on my side, sis. She says, thanks for all the hard work you do. Pure love. It was a great stream earlier with Lead. Yeah, Lead is amazing. Like, you know, we both work really hard trying to figure out this YouTube thing. Sometimes we bounce ideas off of each other all the time. And we look at other creators and see what other people are doing. But Lead is like my bestie, man. I'm just so grateful to have him in my life. And, you know, not only as a mentor, but as a friend. He is amazing. So thank you so much, Urban Southern Cookie. Sally Sunshine with the 10. Thank you, Sally. She says, thanks for all your hard work, AV. You're a dynamic team, and your YSL Luna. We appreciate all of your content. Adelson Mama is causing a ruckus in Florida. Keep us up to date on the continuing saga. Yes, this is why I need to hire more people, guys. You need to, like, seriously. So Karen Reed is starting back up in January. And we're going to need help. I mean, I would like, it's here in Massachusetts while I'm still here for now. I'm going back to Georgia. You guys already know I hate it here. But I'll be trying to figure out how to cover that and YSL at the same time. And then y'all know Diddy stuff is happening. We're going to need help. So when you are helping me as a creator, whatever you're doing to support this channel, whether you're just a liker or a commenter or a subscriber, or a super chatter, or a member, whatever you are doing to support this channel enables me to expand the channel and bring more people on and build an enterprise. So I want to thank you guys for that. And Sally is one of those people. So thank you so much, Sally. I heard the Adelson case is happening too. I did a video on it. Didn't really get a lot of traction, so I didn't follow the case too much, but there's so many cases, it's just always going to be busy. That's what we do. But thank you, Sally. Mixed Chick Sammy hits me with the 20. Thank you so much, Sammy. No comment, no question. Pure love of the game. Here's how awesome she is. She follows up with 10 more 87 memberships. You guys are amazing with memberships today. Like on both sides. It's unreal. But thank you, Sammy. Really appreciate you. And also hit me with the Cash App when I was live with Lead. She is just the best. Like, there are certain mods that I have where I can like vent to you guys, and I'm like, oh my god, I just went through this thing. And Sammy is one of those people. Here Comes Drama is another one. They're just folks that I trust, and I love you guys. So thank you so much, Sammy, for expanding the community. D's back with the 2 says, why would anyone want to do a plea deal with Fulton County? It's a deal with the devil, D. Deonra, it is a deal with the devil. Shout out to DS with the 2 says, yo, what's up, AV? Good to see you streaming. Thank you so much, DS. Hope you are doing well and having a great Friday. A girl from Texas with the 2 says, back at it again. We are in here, sis. Little quick one. I'm gonna watch some old school legacy clips. Shout out to Petty Pendergrass with the 5 AV memberships. Thank you so much, Petty. If you received one, please say thank you to Petty. That is fantastic. Shout out to Diamond with the 2 says, I did these crimes. Luna's running out there somewhere, but it is so funny. I talked to my mom on FaceTime yesterday. She's like, how you been? I was like, good. Luna has merch. Look. I was like, I did these crimes. We got all types of stuff. We've got Where is Rico? The phone holder. We've got Where is Rico? The Post-its. I love these. We got You're Hurting My Brain, Miss Love. You're Hurting My Brain. But I did these crimes is another funny one. I sent Lead one. I think he has a hoodie that says I did these crimes, because he kind of came up with it. Danielle, gifted 10 memberships. Danielle, you're so sweet. Thank you for doing that. We received one from Danielle. Please say thank you to her. We caught Full Drinking and Half Thinking. And then we also caught Miss Here Comes Drama, gifting out 5 memberships. Anywho, let's get into some fun. I figured we're going to look at some old clips of this interaction because, again, Miss Love already talked to Mounk Tounk, right? So seeing what Adam Abate is going to say to him in an evidentiary hearing is going to be interesting. We're going to start with the infamous I Ain't Your Child clip. Let's go.
Was the lawyer for your friend, Mr. Kendrick, here in court with you on December 28th, 2022? You can answer first, and I will let you explain, but I need you to answer yes or no.
But could you stop yelling at me like I'm your child or I'm not your child?
You are not.
You talking aggressive to me. You don't intimidate me. all them guys over here. So if you would have came to me and asked me this, I'd have told you the same thing. What if they was in my face or not in my face? I'm not scared of them or you.
I don't want you to be.
Well, that's what you acting like it. That's what you
Okay.
acting like you trying to
So
paint.
do you want me to bring my voice down? And I apologize
Don't
if it
holler at
sounds
me,
like
I
I'm
ain't your
yelling.
child.
You know, I didn't, looking at this again, I didn't realize, like he said, don't holler at me because I'm not your child. And that's right. You're talking to a father that has 8 goddamn children. Like he has a lot of kids. You know, he has a ton of kids, right? So I wanted to kick us off with that. But let's come back over here because that is the famous moments. But let's check out this one. And he's saying, he goes back to say that this is not intimidation. He's not changing anything because he's scared of anybody. He's just basically saying, hey, I did not have definitive knowledge of this specific thing, Miss Love. But you are speaking to me in an aggressive manner. Let's go back in.
That you entered on December 28th, 2022. Did you ever stop and ask the judge or tell the judge you wanted to clarify anything?
No, because I thought my lawyer had already did that.
And when you heard the state read out factual acknowledgments and ask you if they were true and correct, did you ever indicate part of them are true, but part of them are not?
I didn't think I could speak that in court.
Okay, this is, so we're 2 questions in. You could already see it. First question, right? We asked you about the factual acknowledgments. Did you ever change any of it? He goes, no. She's basically saying, all right, when the state read them out in the courtroom, did you ever change it? He's like, I didn't know that I could do that. Like my lawyer was taking care of all these things. But it is aggressive because she's showing like he is contradicting himself. He is, I believe she believes he is lying. And she's just like, all right, so let's put it on the record. Did you ever stop us at any point back then? Not today, because you're saying something different today, but back then, did you ever stop us?
Why did you think you could not speak it in court?
Because I ain't thinking like I could just burst out and say that why the judge reading, or why you was reading out, because the judge didn't read it out. I ain't think I can do that. That was never explained to me.
That's actually a good point.
Between December 28th, 2022 and last week, did someone tell you you could burst out while the state was reading something?
No.
Interrupt?
No.
So last week when I was asking you questions and you told the judge I gave you a headache and made your blood pressure go up, you felt comfortable enough? Did you feel comfortable enough to do that?
She's so petty. Did y'all hear that? She is so petty. Oh my God. She is so petty. This is what she's saying. She's like, oh, and this was in December. It was just her, him, his attorney, and Judge Glanville in the courtroom. And they went through all the factual acknowledgments. And she's like, do you understand this? He's like, yes, ma'am. Do you understand this? Yes, ma'am. And I actually think that a lot of people don't know that they have rights and they can object or say something. But here's the thing. By her saying, did you yourself ever say something to us? Did you object then? Did you ever say that anything in those documents were wrong back then? She's holding him responsible. But what he's saying, if you listen correctly, actually makes sense. That was his attorney's job. And then she's comparing it to like, okay, you didn't say anything back then when it was just the 4 of us in the courtroom. But last week when you said that I'm making your blood pressure go up and blah, 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 like you said something then. So she's like, so Mounk Tounk, you didn't know that you can, you see what I'm saying, guys? Like, I don't know if that's coming out right, but it's just, I don't think that was a good comparison. But let's go back a little bit further and watch that part play out again.
When I was asking you questions and you told the judge I gave you a headache and made your blood pressure go up, you felt comfortable enough? Did you feel comfortable enough to do that?
Because I'm on the stand trying to explain. When you sit back there, you ain't explaining. But when you sitting on this side, you call me here to tell my truth and my understanding. And that's what I'm giving you. I can't give you nothing else. I'm only giving you my truth.
Okay. And so when you were sitting at the table next to your lawyer, did you feel more or less comfortable about giving your truth?
I don't recall.
Do you want to answer the question?
I just answered.
No, I'm asking you, do you want to
I
answer?
want to answer any question that you got for me, but if I don't remember, I don't remember.
And so what is it that you don't recall about being at the table with your lawyer?
I just don't recall, my love. I ain't trying to give you a hard time. But it looked like you trying to give me a hard time.
Mr. Sledge, would you tell the jury as between when you were in court on December 28th, 2022, and when you have been in court for the last 4 days, if there is anything different about parties in the courtroom that you can point out?
Oh my word.
No.
So everyone here in the courtroom was in the courtroom with you on December 20th.
I love when we can come back to this stuff a few weeks later. Listen to that question. Remember how I just told you guys when they were in, when he's accepting the plea deal? It was Judge Glanville on the stand, Miss Love at one table, and then Mounk Tounk and his attorney on the other side. There's probably a court reporter, maybe some bailiffs, but you didn't see all the defendants in the room. What she's asking him right now is, was there anything different between, you know, that session back then when you accepted the plea deal versus where we are today? She's asking that question strategically because she's trying to insinuate that he suddenly doesn't remember because he's in front of all the defendants and their attorneys right now. Love's got some cunning strategies from here and there that we could point out. But now that I'm seeing this in retrospect, after seeing that they're trying to revoke his probation, she was laying down this trap, this web right here. You could see it.
2022.
When you say
Action relevance.
Your Honor, it goes to changes.
Okay, overruled.
could you repeat it?
Were each of the people now in the courtroom today were,
Hang on. Yes.
Yeah, this is interesting to bring back in retrospect. Do y'all remember they don't even do this anymore? Before, all the defense attorneys would approach and they would be able to talk to the judge and Miss Love. Now they don't even show that part. The cameraman moves it. But before, we don't even see this anymore. This is early September. So you see how this trial always evolves, right? But that's one thing off the bat we see that is already different. Zooming in on Young Thug there. It looks like they were listening to something that Mounk Tounk was saying. He stepped out of the courtroom. All right, it's coming
All right,
back
so
in.
for the record, that objection is overruled. Let's get the witness back. Oh, Octavia. All right, go ahead, Ms. Love.
thank you. Just 1 second. Mr. Sledge, would you please tell the jury who is in the courtroom with you today that was not in the courtroom with you on December 28th, 2022?
Could you repeat it?
Can you rephrase that? Because that's going to be a whole lot of people. Just get to the point that you want to ask.
Yes. You already said I was here. Was there a court reporter here in the courtroom? Not this one, but a court reporter?
I think so.
Were there deputies?
I think so.
Were there DA investigators?
I think, yes,
Obviously, you said your lawyer was here.
yes.
All right. Was your friend Shannon here?
If you're trying to get to the point.
Mr. Sledge, I'm not trying to get to anything, and I really do need you to just answer the question.
Listen.
So if you could
But
please, Your Honor, if the
If you
court
could
would
be allowed to
instruct the
answer
witness
question,
to
Your Honor.
answer the question,
Listen to the question and answer the question.
And then
that's
you can
asked, and
explain.
then you may explain it.
I would ask
Thank
that
you.
he be allowed to complete his answer.
and Your Honor, since his answer was not responsive,
His answer was not responsive.
I'd ask that you,
Re-ask the question.
was your friend, Mr. Stillwell, here in court with you on December 28th, 2022?
No,
Was your friend, defendant Williams, here in court with you on December 28th, 2022?
no,
Was your friend, defendant Kendrick, here in court with you on December 28th, 2022?
Using the word
No.
friend.
Was the lawyer for your friend, Mr. Williams, here in court with you on December 28th, 2022?
no,
Was the lawyer for your friend, Mr. Stillwell, here in court with you on December 28th, 2022?
no,
Was the lawyer for your friend, Mr. Kendrick, here in
Objection.
court with you on December? He objected.
saying,
I'll
why
wait.
you
Hold
raising-
on, Mr.
Hang
S-
on.
Relevance to whether I was in attendance at the time he took his plea.
Your Honor,
Overruled.
was the lawyer for your friend, Mr. Kendrick, here in court with you on December 28th,
but
2022? You can answer first.
Okay, hold on. So look at the body language. I paused it. I didn't even plan that. Look at the body language. Now, I want you to notice, pay attention to one thing. And Max picked up on this. He's like, let the witness answer the question. And the judge sided with love, of course. And she's like, please re-ask your question. She is using the word friend. But every time Mounk Tounk wants to talk or elaborate, she goes like this. She's telling him to stop. And so he's actually kind of listening because it's a little disorienting, but she's doing it right now as we speak. Let me press play and bring us back 30 seconds because I want you to watch her body language.
And court,
Isn't it?
he objected.
saying-
I'll wait. Here,
Objection.
22.
no,
Was the lawyer for your friend, Mr. Kendrick, here in
Objection.
court with you on December? He objected.
saying,
I'll
why
wait.
you
Hold on,
raising-
Hang
Mr.
on.
Relevance
See the
to
hand?
whether I was in
See the hand?
attendance at the time he took his
Look at the
plea.
hand.
Your Honor,
Overruled.
was the lawyer for your friend, Mr. Kendrick, here in court with you on December 28th,
but
2022? You can answer first and I will let you explain, but I need you to answer
no.
yes or no.
But could you stop yelling at me like I'm your child or something? I'm not your child.
You are not.
You talking aggressive to me. You don't intimidate me. All them guys over here. So if you would have came to me and asked me that, I'd have told you the same thing. What if they was in my face or not in my face? I'm not scared of them or you.
I don't want you to be.
Well, that's what you acting like it. That's what you
Okay.
acting like you trying to
So
pay.
do you want me to bring my voice down? And I
Yeah,
apologize if
don't
it
holler at
sounds
me.
like
I
I'm
ain't your
yelling.
child. Could I take a break? Y'all call.
Now, we've had so many breaks this
Yeah,
morning. We
'cause
really need to
I'm-
get through this.
All right. So, Mr. Sledge, was either Quay that is in the courtroom here today in the courtroom with you on December 28th, 2022?
No,
Was Lil Rod in the courtroom with you on December 28th, 2022?
get to your point. No,
That is my point.
your point is
Okay.
pointless.
Your point is pointless.
Was the lawyer for Mr. Huey Quay in court with you on December 28th, 2022?
No,
Was the lawyer for Quamarvius Nichols in court with you on December 28th, 2022?
no,
Was the lawyer for Little Rod in court with you on December 28th, 2022?
I don't know if that's been asked and answered or not.
It was not.
Okay, well, go ahead if you say it was.
Was the lawyer for
No.
Little Rod
no,
On cross-examination, defendant Stillwell's attorney, Mr. Sharp, asked you about Shell Kel and Antrevia. Do you remember that?
I don't recall.
All right. When did you lose recollection of what happened 3 days ago?
I don't recall.
Are all of your answers to every question I ask from now on going to be, I don't recall?
Yes,
Why?
because I don't recall.
And what caused you to lose your memory?
You put so much pressure on my brain, I don't forgot everything. I can't remember all this stuff that been asked to me for the last 4 days. It's like,
You
it's
hurt my
confusing.
brain. It's
I'm not,
confusing.
like you said, I completed the 9th grade. I'm not that intelligent to be remembering all this stuff that you keep asking me. My brain just everywhere. I might need to go see somebody after this.
I forgot about that.
Mr. Sledge, did you have any problem at all understanding the questions asked to you about Brian Steele?
I don't recall.
Right. Did you lose your memory at any point with Mr. Steele?
He wasn't pressuring me like you. He was helping me. He was explaining to me. He was breaking down. But it seemed like
I appreciate what you're saying. I'm going to respond to that.
Objection. The
Mr.
witness should be allowed to answer the question.
Were you finished with your answer?
no, she cut me off.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
I said, Mr. Steele was explaining to me he wasn't pressuring me, but every time it seems like I'm getting up and with you, I'm giving you my truth and you still trying to pressure me to say something you want me to say when I'm giving you the truth that I know.
That was actually a
Mr.
good
Sledge,
answer.
do you understand that there's a difference between the way that a
I don't-
prosecutor can ask you questions and the way that a defense attorney can ask you questions?
No,
Do you understand that I cannot lead you when I'm asking you questions?
it's,
Sustained.
That was like 5 objections.
When you say that there's a difference between the way that Mr. Steele asks you questions and the way that I ask you questions, would you help me understand what that difference is so that I can ask you questions
He's
in a way
not
that
being
does
a
not
jerk.
frustrate you?
Oh, well.
Just don't be a
He
jerk.
kind of has told you.
she ain't said it. She said, you overruled.
Ask your next question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, did y'all see that? Let's go back. She's like, well, how do I fix myself? Like, how do I ask you questions more like Brian Steele? And then even the judge is like, well, he's already kind of told you, just don't be a jerk. Just don't be a jerk. And then look at how she responds. It's right here. Look at her face right here. Pati, let's go.
Sustained.
When you say that there's a difference between the way that Mr. Steele asks you questions and the way that I ask you questions, would you help me understand what that difference is so that I can ask you questions in a way that does not frustrate you?
Oh,
Here it is.
well.
Look, right
he
here.
Kind of
Right
has told you.
She ain't said it. She said, you overruled.
Ask your next question.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So will you help me break things down a little bit so that I'm not frustrating you? Okay.
You already have.
I understand.
I
Can
don't
we-
even
Can we rewind?
know.
All right.
Can we
When you were
rewind?
asked
No.
about Antrevia, was Shell Kel the person you said who had also started a relationship with Antrevia after you?
I don't recall.
What is confrontational about that question?
I just don't recall.
Why don't you recall?
Because you pressured me. I don't recall. You hurt my brain.
All right, so let's take an early lunch and you can calm down in the meantime, hopefully.
That was it. That was it. But I want to go back to see more. I definitely want to go back to see more because
The gang.
these were
It's
interesting.
specifically related to YSL being made up of 3 or more people who've committed crimes for YSL. Is that what you acknowledged in count one?
Yes, I initiate, yes.
Okay. So how does what Gaither or Dennis may or may not have said to you, what does that have to do with whether or not you know about 3 or more people who've committed crimes for YSL?
All right, man, I get it. You like this
I
skirt.
can't say.
You also said you've been a member of YSL since 2012. Your memory was refreshed.
Yes, because you know, as it went on, it started as a neighborhood gang, but
It
as
started, wait. I'm
a
sorry.
neighborhood gang,
What are you saying? Spell what you're saying.
GANG,
Okay. What started as a neighborhood gang?
YSL.
All right. What do you mean when you say gang in that sentence?
You ain't let me finish the first.
I promise you I will, just if you don't mind. Can you tell the jury what you mean when you say gang right there?
What it said, gang. 3 or more people.
Keep going.
It's a gang, you say.
No. I can't testify, so it has to be you and your
I
words.
just said 3 or more people is a gang.
So when you say that YSL started as a neighborhood gang, what is it that you mean? That it just has 3 or more people?
Yeah, because, well, I guess, from my understanding, I guess.
So tell the jury what you understand a gang to be, apart from Gaither, Dennis, or anyone from the state. What is Mr. Antonio Sledge's understanding of what a gang is?
Judge, I'm going to object. It calls for a legal conclusion by this witness.
No, sir, it doesn't. So I'm going to overrule that. She's asking about his lay understanding of it.
My understanding of the gang was 3 or more people hanging together. That's my understanding. I didn't think you had to be committing a crime to be a gang.
So continue explaining why you said it started out as a neighborhood gang.
Because that was my understanding of it.
Okay. And so then what happened?
Jeffrey Williams started a company called YSL the label. So it departed from the gang.
Okay. So who all was a part of the neighborhood gang called YSL?
I can't name
The
in
name
this
must be
courtroom.
named.
I don't see anybody, but you got a couple of us. I can say I was. I'm gonna say I was. I can't name the other people. I'm gonna stick with I was.
Who started YSL, the neighborhood gang?
I wasn't there when they started, so I don't know.
What is your understanding of who started it?
Mondo said he started. He ain't on this case.
Why do you mention that Mondo isn't on this case?
I'm just saying. You said who started YSL the game?
Friendly reminder to hit the like button.
You
So is Mondo, to your knowledge, also YSL, a YSL gang member?
I don't know. I never hung with Mondo.
Okay.
I don't really even know him.
So who did you hang with as part of YSL, the neighborhood gang?
Well, I guess you could say Stevens. I don't want to name the other people they did. I don't want to name the deceased, if that okay with you.
Is Stevens the only living person that you know of who was a member of YSL, the neighborhood gang?
That I know personally?
That you know of who was a member of YSL, the neighborhood gang?
I can't think of right now off the top of my head.
Is every person that you hang with or consider a friend or a loved one a member of a gang?
Had they been a member of a gang?
Is everybody that you hang with a member of the gang YSL?
I wouldn't say that.
What makes some people a member of the gang YSL and some people not, in your mind?
Based on what you say, based on what you tell me. If
What
you
you
told me you were YSL the gang, then that's my understanding. If you tell me you were part of YSL the label, that's my understanding.
Okay.
That don't mean it have to be true. You just, you know,
Is it your testimony that the only requirement to be considered a gang in your mind is that 3 or more people hang out together?
no, because I thought to be in the game, you have to be whatever they call it, jumped in, beat in, whatever you want to call it.
Jumped in, beat in.
So that's why I was asking you earlier. Tell the jury what Mr. Sledge's understanding of a gang is. Outside of anything you've heard from the state, tell the jury what your understanding of what a gang is.
I just told you, Ms. Lord.
All right. You said earlier, did you, that it just means that 3 people are hanging together?
I said, that's part of three or more people hanging together. And some other way they said you have to be jumped in the gang. That's why I never consider YSL as a gang, because you don't have to get jumped in YSL to be YSL. A lot of people just say they YSL and run with it. And then I don't think for YSL, there's so many different people that probably claim gangs. You got Crips, you got Blood, you got GD, you even got what we call them civilians that say they YSL. So all that can't even go together as being a gang.
Okay. So given what can't go together as being a gang, just tell the jury what you think, what has to be present for a group to be considered a gang in your mind.
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
I'm going to show you what the state has labeled and previously provided to the defense, but I will provide again as State's Exhibit 410 Yankee to State's Exhibit 442 Yankee. And I will provide to the defense another copy. They have it already? Okay. Would you take a look at the photographs that are labeled States 410 Yankee to 4. Let me actually enumerate. So 410, 411, 412, 413, 414, 415, 416, 417, 418, 419, 420, 421, 422, 423, 424, 426, 427, 428,
A plethora of photos.
429,
Oh my God.
430, 430, and tell me if you recognize those photographs.
through 424Y and then 426Y through 430Y?
Yes.
Seven. It's blurry.
All right. Can you pull up 427 on the digital? Consider 427 until I present that at a different time. And through 424 and 426, and then 428 through 430,
Yes,
Yankee.
yes.
Do you recognize those photographs?
I see him now, so yeah.
Are you depicted in those photographs?
Yes,
Okay. Are they fair and accurate depictions of you at the time that the photographs were taken?
I'm in the photographs. I see that much.
Are they fair and accurate depictions of you at the
Yes,
time? Okay.
yes.
Your Honor, the state tenders 410 Yankee, 411 Yankee, actually 410 through 424 Yankee, 426 Yankee, and 428 Yankee through 430 Yankee.
All right. Is there another?
Got it.
Previous objections stand.
Understood.
Are they admitted, Your Honor? Did the court say yes?
Yes, they're
Okay,
admitted.
thank you. All right, so Mr. Sledge, I'm going to start out with 410 Yankee. And I'm going to display it on the screen right over your right shoulder.
I can see it right here.
Okay, and if we could just blow that up. Okay.
It ain't right. No more.
Do you use social media, Mr.
Yes.
Sledge?
Yes,
What platforms of social media do you use?
I don't have like an Instagram.
What is your Instagram name?
I think it's double OG Tounk right now.
Right now.
Yeah,
What was it in 2015?
right here it say triple OG Tounk.
And does right there accurately reflect what your Instagram name was in 2015?
Yes,
All right. What types of things did you post on Instagram?
I post a lot on Instagram. Pictures of me and friends, probably sometime my kids.
And everyone having different reasons for posting. What are some of the reasons you would post on Instagram?
It's a website. It's an entertainment site.
Okay. Did you sometimes post messages on Instagram?
Maybe.
Yeah, I always forget
Looking at
about the
410
strip
Yankee.
club. There are women in the back.
All right. What message did you post on the picture in State's Exhibit 410 Yankee?
YSL, fuck the rest, love. Fuck the rest, love.
And what is next to the word love?
100, 2 green heart, 2 green snakes.
And how is it that you spell the word immediately to the right of YSL?
How did I spell it?
Yes, how did you spell it?
I told to see y'all and put an X in it
Why?
because that's what I wanted to do.
Why did you want to do that?
Why did I can't do it?
You can. I'm just asking why
okay.
you wanted to do it.
There was no reason.
It was random. Okay.
Wow. Why did you use
Would you tell the jury who all
why?
is depicted in State's Exhibit 410 Yankee for the record?
I can't name all them people right now. I can only name the people I know.
Would you stand up,
Here
being
comes
careful,
Mama.
do not trip over the ledge.
Yeah, I got a bad leg.
I don't want you to trip. And point out the people to the jury that you do know and tell their names or what you call them.
I see me. I see Mr. Arnold. I see Mr. Kendrick, Shannon.
Would you do me a favor? I'm going to give you this microphone so that you can point out. Speak into it though.
Y'all have a laser pointer?
We had a pointer.
I mean, a laser pointer would be a better idea than a stick, but either would be
And a
better than
stick.
just.
Your point, I'm not saying I don't know these people.
That's okay.
Me, Arnold, Stevenson. I think, yeah, that's Roscoe. Garnington.
Let's go with where the pointer is. Can you see that white pointer?
That's Garnington.
Okay. Go ahead.
I think that's Pee Wee.
Who is Pee Wee? Do you know his real name? Is it
I don't-
Jimmy Winfrey?
I think that what it is. I don't actually remember. I think that what it is though.
Go ahead.
Stevenson,
All right.
me.
All right.
I think that's Jeffrey,
Uh-huh.
Shannon,
Okay.
Mr. Kendrick,
Uh-huh.
Mr. Arnold.
Okay.
I can't see who that is.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know who that is. You can't even see his face.
Can you tell who the person is in the white hoodie to the far left of the screen?
I don't really know him.
What about the one to the far right of the screen?
I don't really know him either.
Okay. Now, thank you. You can have a seat. Thank you so much. Is the date and time reflected on that post April 28th, 2015 at 11:58 a.m.?
I don't see the time, but I see the, oh yes. Yes, that's the time of the day.
All right. Now, do you have any reason why you posted this particular picture with that particular caption on April 28th, 2015?
I don't have any reason. The person who's over YSL, the label, right there in the picture,
All right.
he have a YSL shirt on.
The person that's over YSL, the label, has a YSL shirt on?
No, I said that Mr. Jeffrey, who owns, well, who's over YSL, the label, is right there in the picture.
Is it your testimony, or you said earlier rather, that Mondo said he started YSL, the gang?
I never said the label. I
He
said the
didn't.
gang. That's what he said. I didn't say he started.
I said that you said Mondo said.
I heard Mondo say he started YSL
right.
the gang. So
From your understanding, is there anyone other than Mondo who started YSL, the gang?
what I don't want to say because it's hearsay.
I just want to know your understanding
Okay,
of the gang
Mounk
you were a
Tounk.
member of
You
in
know what
2012.
hearsay is.
Hearsay, I could say Stevenson, they said.
So when you, how did you become a member of YSL?
I just started saying I was YSL. Like I told you, anybody can say that.
Okay. Do you know a young man named Walter Murphy who answers to the name DK?
Yeah, I know Walter Murphy.
Is he YSL?
I heard him say it before, so I guess.
Tell the jury who all in this picture that you posted on April the 28th, 2015 are members of YSL.
Do you want me to tell you the people who the label YSL, or you want to tell the people that would probably say they was YSL the game?
YSL in any capacity, tell the jury
Okay, the
what
label.
people you were referring to when you said
You got
YSL, FUXK, the rest, love.
all right. You got Jeffrey Williams. He had a YSL the label. You got Mr. Honor. He's an artist. You got Mr. Kendrick. He's an artist. You got Mr. Stillwell, was trying to become an artist of YSL. And
YSL in any way, label, gang. Who in this photograph
You caught
would you
right there.
consider YSL?
He caught her right there.
you confused me. So,
That's how it ended. You confusing me. And real quick, huge shout out to the Fit Lawyer ATL over here on my side. Thank you so much for the love, sis. No comment, no question, pure love of the game. She is an active practicing attorney, criminal defense lawyer in the Atlanta area, showing your sister some love over here on this side. Thank you so much, Fit Lawyer ATL. No comment, no question, pure love of the game. She has been with us for a few months now as we've been covering the shenanigans happening in the Atlanta area. But this case is no different. I mean, every day something crazy happens. And we saw Mounk Tounk's plea deal and we pulled it up. We looked at it because they are trying to revoke his probation. So if y'all could do me a huge favor, type in the Fit Lawyer ATL practicing actively in Atlanta, that would be fantastic. She is one of your stream co-sponsors. So guys, here's what we're gonna do. I hate to leave it very early. But we have two stream co-sponsors. We have Full Drinking and Half Thinking. And we also have the Fit Lawyer ATL. I'm going to add her to the banner right now. Streams co-sponsors, Full Drinking and Half Thinking. And the Fit Lawyer ATL. Let me update you guys. We're going to read a few super chats. But I really want to thank the Fit Lawyer ATL from the bottom of my heart for supporting your girl. You know, I can't be in two places at one time. I was just in Atlanta this past for half of the week. Got back Tuesday night, streams with Lead. We had yesterday off, and then we streamed again today. So my channel needed a little bit of love over here, just a little bit of love, because we know we're not going to get love from DA Love, who was not in the courtroom today. But thank you so much, Miss Fit Lawyer ATL. Who else do we have? Let me see if I could just grab a few of these supers, and then we're going to head out for the night, guys, because I've been on here since 9 a.m. Shout out to Candy Yates with the 20. Candy says, hey, AV, you're still going strong tonight, sis. This is some good stuff here. It is. I wanted to look at that plea deal again and really look at it a few weeks later, and that they're going to haul this man into court next week, and we're going to see, you know, what he says for himself, because they are alleging that he violated all of the provisions within his plea agreement when he testified. So that's why I wanted to revisit it and go back to some of the interactions between Mounk Tounk and Miss Love so we can see exactly what the discrepancies were, you know? So I thought that was going to be interesting, but thank you so much, Candy Yates. Shout out to Baby Cakes with the 5, says, hey, AV, can we review the Dr. Dre lawsuit? His divorce psychiatrist is suing him for $10 million? What? Wow. Dre is saying he turned his son against him. Sounds juicy. Well, we'll have to look into that one on spare time. But thank you so much, Baby Cakes. I did not know that. Full drinking and half thinking hits me with the two. Says, remember, Woody started exposing how evil she is. He did. He really did. He was talking about Miss Love with that one. Shout out to Darius with the 5. Darius says, before last week, it seemed as though Judge Whitaker would help Love with objections. Love would simply say, judge, and the judge would overrule. That's it. That's actually a really good observation, Darius, because we did see some of that. Now it's kind of like, they're getting fed up. And you guys remember the letter that we read earlier and all those shenanigans. Thank you so much, Darius. Shout out to Shanta with the 10. Shanta says, can he claim ineffective counsel, or can you think of anything he can get around this, or is he hosed in your opinion? Thanks, doll. Anytime, Shanta. Good to see you today. So I think that his defense attorney should have taken a very, very much a closer look at this plea deal, because it is not good. But remember, this defense attorney took the stand after Mounk Tounk did, because everyone had questions about this plea deal and the different versions and the back and forth nature of it and the negotiation process. Do you guys remember the meeting that they had at Starbucks? Because there were some discrepancies from the get-go that we're seeing that came out in the courtroom, right? Now, he could claim ineffective counsel. He could, right? He could also hire a different attorney. Because here's the thing. I don't think that Mounk Tounk was able to afford this attorney if he were to hire him privately and not on the public defender side. So, getting a good lawyer with a case like this that takes a while is interesting. And I think that's one of the reasons why he became a severed defendant and made the decision to get a plea deal. I think his best bet is to hire a brand new lawyer and go from there, because this is, you're going to want a fresh set of eyes on something like this. But who knows, maybe his former attorney can work something out here when it comes to this, but we'll see what happens. Great question, Shanta. Shout out to Miss Kate with a $5 super sticker. Thank you so much, Miss Kate. Really appreciate you. Shout out to Aaron with the 5. Says, Mounk sounded like a full snitch the first time we watched it live, but after watching it again, I think he cleaned up the gang definition. He did. And even towards the end, like, you saw him catch her a little bit because she wanted him to say that YSL was a gang, that the record label and the gang are the same thing, or that there isn't a distinction. And then towards the end of that interaction that we just watched, she was hoping that he would put it all together. And he's like, no. Jeffrey Williams, he's the owner of that record label. Shannon Stillwell, he's an artist on that record label. This guy is an artist on that record label. He started doing that. I don't think she recognized that Mounk Tounk was going to do that. So thank you so much, Aaron. Shout out to Free Ransom, who became a member. Welcome, Ransom. You're going to love it here on the channel, and welcome to the group. Shout out to Here Comes Drama with the 5 memberships. And then shout out to Chi-Town, who says, would this be legal blackmail? Oh my God, Chi-Town, I have a whole thing going on about blackmail. I don't even want to talk about that word right now, because blackmail exists. It happens on the internet all the time. You would never believe the people that do it. But I don't think that it is blackmail per se. If you guys remember Ashley Merchant's letter earlier, like, sometimes a state can make mistakes and they can violate some laws, or they can incorrectly apply laws and the powers that they have, right? I do think that this is an interesting way to apply the power that they have, because they can negotiate plea deals. Can some of the plea deals maybe not have the best terms? Yeah, that can happen. But here's the thing, a good criminal defense attorney, and speaking of good criminal defense attorneys, the Fit Lawyer ATL can tell you, the defense attorney's job is to negotiate with the prosecutor, right? You push back with certain things, you can negotiate certain clauses, you can do that stuff and see what they're willing to come down on, what they're willing to change, things of the like. Now, we're learning that defense attorney probably should have fought a little bit harder with some of this stuff at the outset. And we're seeing that necessarily didn't happen. Like, Mounk Tounk signed up for 30 years of probation. Is it possible to stay straight and narrow for that long? Is it? And were they going to be happy with his testimony if his testimony was not in alignment with what they're trying to accomplish with convicting these 6 guys, right? So interesting. I want to see how this plays out next week. Next week is shaping up to be a good one. We're going to see Summer on the stand on Monday, and I believe she is Mounk Tounk's ex-girlfriend. So we'll see what she's like. And then on top of that, it looks like we'll get some news around this Mounk Tounk thing. Before we go, though, I do want to catch one other person who wants to remain anonymous and sends me a $50 PayPal. They say, have lunch on me. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much for that. You guys always try to make sure I eat because I sit in this chair all day. But I'm definitely going to grab a bite to eat. This is dinner time, but I wanted to make sure I popped on real quick. Showed you guys a little bit of love. Talked about this Mounk Tounk plea deal business and what is on the horizon for the next thing. So here's what we're going to do. We've got a Diddy video that is almost out of production. I think that is our release for tomorrow. We do have another piece that we're putting out on Sunday on Diddy as well, because we have a court date. He's going to court in May of 2025. As far as I know, that trial is not going to be televised because it is a federal case. That's at least what I'm hearing. We're still verifying and fact checking that. But there's a lot more that's going to be in store with the Diddy case, because some of the other cases involving him, the other 125 victims, some of those are civil actions. So some of those things could either get settled or they'll go to trial. Anywho, I am going to jump out of here. Thank you so much to our 2 stream sponsors, the Fit Lawyer ATL, and of course, Full Drinking and Half Thinking, that team. Thank you guys so much. Stay safe out there. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.